getting ready to go out to Seattle and New Mexico. Usually I split the weekends. This is a traditional weekend where we split the teams. Sprinters, jumpers, ballistic events go to New Mexico. The distance runners go to Seattle. Pretty good weekend last weekend in New York. Happy about the results so we got there. Of course, you guys all know those milers for those guys, young guys, to break 4 minutes is always a big deal here in our program. And then for Mick to be the guy to run 3:57, always a good deal there as well as getting both of those DMRs qualified. So exciting weekend up and coming, and then be the last weekend we have before we head to conference weekend, championship season.
You guys usually do pretty well down in New Mexico. Is it just a matter of the altitude? Is it a matter of just kind of where you are in the season at this point? Things are usually starting to come together.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's anything to do with the altitude. I think it's just more so where we are in the season and our culmination of some of our training and what we're trying to do in practice.
And Katie's not on the list again this week, and neither is Brooke or Matthew. Is it safe to
Katie
say
will not be competing, and Brooke will not be competing
uh, the rest of the season?
this weekend.
This weekend. What about for the rest of the season?
Katie will not be competing this weekend, and Brooke will not be competing this weekend. Neither will Matthew Mayton if you want to take it a step further.
I do. So
There
thank
you
you. One step ahead.
The times for those distance medleys. I mean, how'd you feel about those times? I mean, obviously you wanted to get qualified, but what kind of performances? What did they indicate are coming later on down the
Yeah,
line?
traditionally, if you look at the statistics of that, or I guess the buzzword is analytics of that, 11 minutes is destined to go. No issues or problems there on the women's side. 9:31 is going to be a bubble-ish time. So if you look, and I don't know if it's as accurate or as fair, but the mile list and all the conversions in the short track versus the altitude. Look at the mile and see how many of those guys out of the 16 are converted marks. And I think there's only 3 people in the top 16 that are traditional. That's what I ran. That's what I get. No conversion marks. You're going to see that same thing in the DMR come here the next couple of weekends or so, where people are going to go either to altitude or people are going to go to these flat tracks and run these times and get this big conversion. So that's going to kind of put the men on that bubble-ish watch. Hence my statement there.
And that's just something you kind of maybe wait until the MPSFs to see what you need to do.
Yeah, so that's probably the last drop dead line we have on our schedule, emergency just in case Notre Dame trip. So we could possibly be taking a group of 4 or 5 to Notre Dame if they want to go and try to get qualified there. A lot of teams will go and do that.
You mentioned mixed 357 last week. What are your thoughts on what he's been able to accomplish and, showing up here without a spot on the team and spending a year trying to get that spot, and now, he's the guy who's leading you in the mile?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that in our staff meeting, not in our staff meeting, but in our team meeting yesterday, about the trials and tribulations and being able to be a winner and loser and the adversity that you have to overcome. And I think Mick is a true testament to that based on the same things that you're saying there. You probably know Mick's story better than most. And he came here as a walk-on to our team. And that first year, Coach Powell told him no, that he can't come onto the team yet. So he ended up being a training partner for Sally Kipkego there for the OTC and pacing her through some workouts there when she was coming along and training. And then Andy finally relented and gave him a spot on the team. And to see from where he's come from to where he is now, there's not much better story than that. And we couldn't be more prouder of that guy there.
He's talked before about, what he's been able to learn from guys like Blake and Sam and, and Edward last year and just how to be a better runner. But what do you think those blue chip guys can learn from somebody like him?
The grind never stops. It never stops. No matter how much adversity you go through, you continue to stay focused and do the little things. He's the epitome of that. I'm sure there's some colloquial or some folklore sayings there, but I'll admit those. But rags to riches is definitely one of the ones that comes to mind there, and just never give up.
This weekend, are there any specific athletes you are looking to qualify to stand out
All of them. It'd be great. No particular ones in any particular order, but those miles are traditionally good up there in Seattle.
Yep.
Those 3Ks are particularly good in Seattle. Even the 5Ks are really good up in Seattle. And then if you switch events and go to New Mexico, 60-meter dash, 200, 400, the relay, those jumps, all of those events. So I think that covers all of them. And just like I said, so looking for everybody to really put their stamp on this indoor season, because we'll take another week off coming back from there, and then we'll be into the MPSF.
It sounded like 2-3 weeks ago you wanted a little more sense of urgency. Have you been seeing that?
Man, it's amazing how we're having this conversation. This thing is almost over. Like, golly, we just started and it's almost over. We're at the conference meet coming up in a couple of weeks. So that panic button and that sense of urgency talk that we had there after the first meet, definitely the athletes answered the call and rang the bell to step up. As you can see, our first meet compared to what we did in New York, and this meet coming up will be no different. Definitely look forward to them going out there and putting their best foot forward and getting lots of seasonal best.
She's great coaching.
Maybe that's far too much credit.
Hey, you had that tweet the other day with the USATF Sport and Science guys.
Oh.
You know, what was that all about?
It's something we traditionally do. Like that's no big secret or no big thing. The guy, Dr. Ralph Mann, works with the USA Track and Field. He goes around to all the different colleges and all the different sites where pros train. So we have some high-level people here in our program, and so for the last few years, he's traditionally come down and just take a look and basically confirms that we're doing the right things.
Just through testing, through times, or
Yeah, he's a biomechanist, so he's built a model, and so he sets the model up at world record pace, and then puts you up against the model, and then you can kind of see the little stick figures there as it goes through. And so, like I said, he gives a presentation to everybody once a year, all the gurus of sprints and hurdles in Las Vegas. Once a year, USATF does that, and we've been down there 2, 3, 4 times just to listen to him speak and share our information and help people and him help us as well.